Welcome back. Today I'm going to take us back a few weeks to the Rage Against the Regime rally in Olean, and I'm doing that for two reasons. The first is that there's some really poignant voices that I think you will enjoy listening to, and the second is that it is where I met Thomas Gorman of Buffalo Sky Vibe. Tom asked a question on Facebook of how his drone flying skills might be able to be used to promote democracy, and he agreed to come all the way from Buffalo to Olean to cover the protests there. Since then, he's gone on to cover several other events, and I think it's very successful. I hope you enjoy the video footage that he has shared with me as we talk about the challenges of flying the drone in some of these areas, as well as how this all came about.
Sure. Thank you for having me on, Kathleen. I love going out and getting awesome drone footage wherever I can out in nature. And I love getting drone footage of different events. And so it just made me think, are there groups out there that might be able to use my footage and, maybe edit some of it, have some fun with it, and, and see what we can do.
I think that's great. I'm always for, people kind of thinking outside the box and also offering up what talents they do have. A lot of times people think there's not much that they can do, but there's usually something. And I really like that you reached out about that. So the first time we actually met in person was at the Rage Against the Regime rally in Olean. Can you tell me how that came about and what the challenges were there?
There's a few things you got to consider. So I made sure that I had permissions from the FAA, and that if I was inside of any of their zones, the Federal Aviation Administration, if I was in any of their zones, that I filed for correct permissions. And that's stuff that I have to do at some of these events, depending on how close they are to an airport. I use different drones that have different obstacle sensing abilities, but you always got to be careful because there's things like telephone lines that the drones are pretty good at picking up, but if they're thin enough, they can definitely miss them. So there's some different stuff that goes into it, and just kind of planning ahead and being smart and safe about what you're doing and making sure you're following the rules.
And I know you got hooked up with the Overpass Bridge Brigade, and I saw some really nice footage because that is a hard thing to capture in any other format. So that was really great. But you had a little bit of a challenge there too for that same reason, right?
But in that space, with special permissions, I was able to fly up to 200 feet. So each area kind of has its own restrictions and stuff like that. I did it there. I also visited the Northtowns Rise Up on Niagara Falls Boulevard,
right,
across from the Delta Sonic over there.
And I know you're, I think you're working with the Taking It to the Streets down Transit Road, which I would imagine will be a difficult challenge as well.
I am planning on trying to hit that for sure. I'll be able to find some footage that'll be fun and creative that I can work with, while still making sure to keep everyone safe.
That's great. And then I did see from a friend about a Facebook post where you participated in a drone show, and I think probably there's a lot of people that don't know what a drone show is.
They're meant to augment fireworks shows. You can do them with fireworks or instead of fireworks. They're really cool. You can have giant images or emblems and make it look like they're all different stuff is lighting up the sky at night. They're really fun.
Yeah, I was pretty impressed. So, well, thanks very much, Tom, for speaking with us, and hopefully people can see all the images of what you've done as we've been speaking about this.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me.
All right. Bye-bye.
All right, bye.
And now we're going to go back to the Rage Against the Regime rally in Olean. The first voice that you're going to hear is Jessica, and she is the mother of the second voice that you're going to hear, Oliver. Jessica's main issue was about health care, and that did include her concern for her son's gender-affirming care. Oliver's main concern was about LGBTQ rights. I thought his insights were really helpful.
I'm Jessica Davis. I'm co-host and co-author of the Voices for People movement on Facebook. I just joined.
So there we go.
There we are, Becky.
And we're at the Rage Against the Regime rally.
Yes,
And I wanted to know, what do you want to see Congress do first? What's your top priority?
For me, I'm a person who I was disabled at 23. I have multiple sclerosis. I get Social Security and I get Medicaid. And when you're talking about MS meds, you're talking thousands of dollars a month. Like my one MS med alone, just for one, is for. If I lose Medicaid, I don't have MS, or I don't have my MS med, and I will die. Horrible death. When Congress says my rights doesn't matter because I'm poor. Well, there's a lot of poor people in the 23rd district, and only in General Hospital will face huge cuts. So for me, medical, because I think everybody has somebody in their family that has something medical. So
Repeal the cuts to
to
Medicaid.
repeal the cuts to Medicaid, and Nick was specifically asked about it, and he told the party line of just get over it. I can't just get over almost dying, so that's why I'm here.
Man, not free, but like my top one is LGBTQ right.
That's fine.
Honestly,
Okay.
that's my top priority.
What would you see? What would you like Congress to do to secure those rights?
I would like for Congress to start off with actually protecting trans people, not using us as a token for votes, and then discarding us or blaming us for losing an election. And I want to see the Democratic Party not be Republican like. I want them to actually grow a backbone and fight for people, fight for their constituents, and not just say pretty words and like have pretty rallies. I want you to actually put those into action.
Do you have any concerns? This is going to be about getting the votes and flipping on us. If we don't do that, you're more screwed than you are.
Oh yeah.
So, you know, on the path, do you think that's going to be beneficial, or do you think that might be harmful? Or in the 23rd district, if say Aaron Geese starts really talking about trans issues and LGBTQ, as opposed to, just everybody.
Right.
Everybody deserves to be who they are.
Right. And we really should use that as like the over like you're human. Like right, like you and I both bleed at the end of the day. We're we both have to have like the same things. So I don't know why there's such a big divide for that. So I know exactly what this area thinks, but I don't think it's worth. I don't think sacrificing or like not bringing up that issue because there are I will tell you there are so many queer people, like so many that have like in my boggles me even how many trans people are in this small town alone. Like we're here. So we want to feel represented, and I it doesn't always feel like we're represented. So it'd just be nice to have that awareness. And it really shouldn't, be you should stand for human rights no matter what. So it shouldn't. I don't think it should be anything that should be deteriorating. Yes. Then my second one, I stand for Palestine. So I want my Congress. I want my tax money to stop going funding genocide. Just listen.
And you had a third? You said you had a top three.
Third is climate change. I'm 23 right now. My brother and I quite frequently talk. We don't even know if we're going to make it to 50. My mom's 15. We don't know if we'll make it to that age because of how climate is. I think it actually at the end of the day, just really giving back to the community. I don't believe that I don't think it trickles down from the top. I mean, I think we've all seen this from economics. This doesn't trickle down to us. So we really need somebody who's baseline community based and working up. I think that's a better strategy is to work upwards to dismantle some harmful systems and get policies in place rather than let it slip.
Yeah.
You need to be in your communities. You need to see how your constituents are, reacting or how those policies are voted. Because it all starts local. So
Sit down. Including your votes.
Yeah.
Go local.
Exactly.
Lastly, we have Lori and Dan. Lori expressed a lot of the same concerns that Oliver did regarding human rights, but came at it from a very different angle. And Dan, who was a Vietnam veteran, talks about the federal administration as a whole and its particular shortcomings.
I see a lot of troubling things with this administration. I think we're already to the point that we're in fascism right now. I used to live in upstate New York, and when I lived there, there was a time of year, it's all apple orchards up there. And I remember going to school with a kid that was a migrant, and her family was very kind, and they were there to pick for apple season. And in the 90s, you didn't think about these things about color of skin or any of you just saw everybody as your equal. And I want to see us be that again. We're finding like our nations to a point that we just see division everywhere. And I want to get to a point where we see each other as just humans, and we deserve human rights and be treated the way we deserve to be treated. Another one that's hard for me to see is homeless here. And that should not, I feel like that having a home should be a right. And then I've lived in Salmaker a good part of my life, so I grew up on the reservation. And for me, living in the reservation where you see how universal health care, caring about your community, they also have basically like a UBI after you turn 18. Seeing how they care about their community and are doing well and being successful, I want to see that everywhere. And that's one of the greatest things I'm proud of for Salmaker, is how the nation has brought their people together and taken care of everyone.
That's good. And so are you doing anything else besides the protests in terms of trying to help?
I started working or volunteering at Epic.
Okay. What does Epic do?
Epic is open to the community. They have if somebody is found shelter and they need appliances or anything, they can come to the church and are welcome to those things. They have clothes, they have food available, they serve a meal Tuesdays to Fridays. Okay. So that not only does it help my mental health, but it really helps with me feeling like I'm giving back and meeting my words with my actions.
Are you at all wondering about your congressman? Do you think about Nick Langworthy in Congress at all yet?
He says he stands for the community, but his words say he's standing in the community, but his actions are proving that he does not care. Another person I'm upset with is Lee Zeldin, who also used to be a representative of New York State, avidly working to harm our health through taking away environmental issues and factors that keep us safe. All these departments that have been removed to keep Americans safe. I don't think many Americans understand how our protections have been removed and how important they are to us, because we never had to think about them until recently.
I really appreciate you talking with us.
Thank
you
you
very much.
The top issue, there's so many top issues.
I know.
Not one is any more important than the other.
Mm-hmm.
So they're all, I'm not sure anyone in the right mind should want criminal to be in charge of money, and particularly with this history of going bankrupt, and the fact that he tried to overthrow the government on January 6th. It's never really played out like it should yet.
And are you involved at all with the congressional race? Do you pay attention to Nick Langworthy? Are you concerned about him as your representative at all?
But he is obviously not doing a good job here. And none of the Republicans are doing a good job that have backed him and should have stood on their own 2 feet.
So you're a Vietnam vet?
Vietnam vet.
And from that perspective, what do you think about how we're doing our military?
He's not a military leader. He has no real experience. Only military.
Did you enjoy his parade?
I didn't watch all that thing. I just a piecemeal thing here and there. It didn't make sense. I mean, talk about a waste of money. And putting our soldiers into making a spectacle for him where they should be guarding someplace.
Yeah.
Well, I was drafted and joined.
Both. There you go.
I went in on the day that I was drafted, but I chose. I
Right.
chose
Sometimes
4
that was the
years
smarter
over
thing
2
to do.
years.
Sometimes that was definitely the smarter thing to do.
Yeah, it was. I choose
What?
what I wish to do.
Yeah. Yeah. At least a little bit.
This to a degree, anyway.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. It's important. So, well, I appreciate it. Thank you very much for talking
Thank
to
you.
us.
That does it for this episode. I just want to remind you that while it all seems like chaos, and it is, we got to keep on pushing. Keep on pushing. Don't lose heart. Believe that we can get this done, and we will.